Good afternoon, everyone. Uh, this is my topic is polygraph. A polygraph is a lie detector test that measures physiological responses such as heart rate, blood pressure, and skin conductivity to assess truthfulness, deception during questioning. Uh, in a polygraph examination, a person might be asked questions related to a specific event, and the polygraph measures physiological responses like changes in heart rate, breathing, and skin conductivity. The examiner analyzes these responses to determine if there are patterns indicative of deception. And the next topic is about polygraphy. Polygraphy refers to the practice or study of using polygraphs, which are instruments designed to measure and record physiological indicators, often for the purpose of detecting deception or truthfulness in a person's responses. A common example of polygraphy is a scenario where a suspect in a criminal investigation undergoes a lie detector test administered by a trained examiner. The person is questioned about their involvement in a crime, and the polygraph records physiological changes to help assess the veracity of their responses.
Personalities in the development of deception and detection of polygraph. Several personalities have played a significant role in development of deception of detection and polygraph technology. Notable figures include William Norton Marston, who contributed the cytometric blood pressure test, and John Augustus Larson, who invented the modern polygraph in the early century. And the next topic, four major components of analog polygraph. The analog polygraph typical consists of four major components. Number one, cardiovascular component. Measure blood pressure and heart rate. Change in the indicators can be associated with stress and anxiety during questioning. Number two, pneumographic components. Record respiratory patterns and sensitive alteration in breathing and increase in breathing rate can signal nervousness or discomfort. Number 3, galvanic skin response. Monitors the electrical conductance of the skin, which can change with sweating. Increased sweating, often associated with stress, can be indicator of deception. Number 4, chart recorder. Records the psychological data collected from the above of components. Also continuous graph examiners and analyze these graphs for patterns and suggest deception.
Polygraph charts or polygraph are visual representation of psychological responses recorded during a polygraph examination. The chart typically display the data collected from various components such as cardiovascular or pneumographic and galvanic scan response. Examiners analyze these polygrams to identify patterns or deviation that may indicate stress or deception. The visual outputs help interpreting the subject psychological reaction during a specific question, assisting in the assessment of truthfulness or deception. Other parts of the analog polygraph machine. The first one is CAT or pneumograph tubes, used for measuring chest and abdominal movements during breathing, providing data for the pneumographic component. Stethoscope attached to the cardiovascular component. It helps capture the heart rate by monitoring the sounds of the heartbeat. Pressure transducer, device that convert psychological change into electrical signals, facilitating the measurement of blood pressure and respiratory patterns. And the last one is the electrodermal activity or the EDA sensor, another term of the galvanic skin response sensors, which measure the change in skin conductance due to sweating. And another last one, recording pins. Participants draw the psychological data onto paper, creating the polygraph charts or polygram.
My topic is about types of polygraph. So, number 1, analog polygraph. Traditional polygraph machine that use paper charts to record psychological response. So, they also include components such as cardiovascular, phonographic, and galvanic skin response. So, number 2, computerized polygraph. So, computerized polygraph, modern version that detailize and store psychological data electronically. So, they often include software for real-time analysis and result interpretation. So, proceed to number 3. Voice trace analysis, or BSE. BSE is a type of polygraph that analyzes changes in vocal characteristics. So, claiming to detect deception based on voice pattern. That is number 3. Number 4, thermal imaging polygraph. So, thermal imaging polygraph measure change partial temperature, theorizing that deception can be associated with alteration in blood flow and skin temperature. That is number 4. And proceed to number 5. Functional magnetic resonance imaging, or PMRI. So, the last number 5 is a more advanced technology that measure brain activity during questioning. So, your question, many of to identifying reception through neutral pattern. So, that's all.
General use of polygraph. The polygraph, commonly known as a lie detector, is a device used to measure psychological responses that are believed to be associated with truthfulness or deception. An example of its general use in criminal investigation, where law enforcement may administer polygraph tests to a suspect or witness to gather additional information and assess the veracity of their statement based on psychological indicators like heart rate and skin conductivity. The theory and polygraph examination. The theory behind the polygraph examination is based on the assumption that deceptive responses can be associated with psychological changes due to stress, anxiety, or arousal. For example, if a person is lying during questioning, they may experience increased heart rate, elevated blood pressure, or changes in her respiratory patterns.
Psychology of lying. The psychology of lying delves in the motivation, cognitive processes, and behaviors associated with the deceptions. People may lie for various reasons, such as self-protection, avoiding consequences, or gaining advantage. Imagine a student who did not complete the homework when the confronted by the teachers. They might lie about having a family emergency, hoping to avoid punishment. In this case, the motivation is to protect oneself from the consequences of not completing the assessment, showcasing the psychological aspect of lying. The nervous system. The nervous system is a complex network of cells, tissue, and organs that coordinates and regulates various functions within the body. Example: when you touch a hot surface, sensory the receptors in your skin send signals through the peripheral nervous system to the spinal cords and then to the brain.